This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101. And I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, I'm going to be talking about a question that gets asked in our Facebook group quite frequently, and it's one I've never actually talked about. And this is, how do you display your menu, both for people that are close to the food truck and people that are farther back in line or at a distance? So it's not a single one-size-fits-all answer. So let's talk about the most common things that you need to do to make sure that people can, number one, find your menu, number two, can read the menu from whatever distance they are, and then hopefully convert that into sales. So what I recommend everybody do is you need to have a menu that's attached with prices on side of your truck, because people expect there to be a menu there, and they expect there to be prices, because they need to be able to filter out a food truck A from food truck B, and some people unfortunately have to shop price, and that's okay. I shop price. I certainly don't need to, but I shop price because I want the best deal possible for my hard-earned money, and there are some people that just flat out charge too much money. So everyone has that price limit. So don't say, well, if they're going to eat off the value menu, then they need to go McDonald's. Well, fine, chase away business. You want people to know what your prices are so they can filter out you from the truck next door. Because if they don't see prices, they're just going to move on by. At least give them information so they can make a good judgment. Now, how are people able to see those prices and the menu from different distances? Again, on the side of your food truck, list your food. You don't need to get into complicated menu descriptions like you would if you're going to a sit-down restaurant where they tell you everything about the particular item you're interested in. What you need is a recognizable name, something that they can go, okay, that's a hot dog, or that's a hamburger, or that's chicken, or that's fish, or that's a Philly cheesesteak. They can see that through the name, and then should be a price. Fairly simple. Now, if they want to know nutritional values and all those kind of things, you can have a QR code. This is the second thing I recommend to be on your truck. A QR code that takes them to your website where they can find a more detailed explanation of what your food is. And if you want to include nutritional values, you can do that. If you want to include the very fancy worded descriptions, you can do that, because they'll be looking at it on their phone, or if they're at home, they'll be looking at it at home on a computer or a tablet. So there's plenty of real estate there and plenty of time for them to read everything on your menu. But when they're in front of your food truck, you don't want them reading 200 words explaining what comes on this plate of food. You want them to see 8 or 10 words at most that explain the basics and give them enough information to make a decision about that particular menu item. And the price got to be there. Otherwise, they don't have all the complete information. What I also recommend people do for the distance is set up an A-frame sign that has a duplicate of your menu that's on the side of your food truck, and it can be set out a number of feet away from your food truck where you can then allow those guests to read at their leisure, because again, they're not in line. They're not standing right there in front of your window trying to read. So that A-frame sign has everything. Same information. It should be a duplicate of what's on the side of your food truck, because you don't want people trying to go back and forth comparing them. So if at all possible, lay them out in the same manner so that they can make that quick visual and go, yep, that's the same menu. If you lay them out too differently, they're going to think there's something missing from one menu to the other, and then they're going to want to figure out what that one missing thing is. That doesn't help move your line. You got to make sure that it's fast and efficient from one side of the window, being your side, and then also from the side of the guest. Things have to be easy so they can make a quick decision and move on to get their order placed. Now, people always are asking about TVs and how do TVs work? Well, TVs don't. If you buy a home TV, it will lose its clarity in the sunlight. And it doesn't have to be super direct sunlight. It can just be normal outdoor ambient lighting. You won't be able to read it. I've gone to a number of food trucks that were open, nobody in line, and they had a digital menu. And it was a TV. It was a home TV. Didn't know it was on. So when I stepped up to the food truck, I had no clue what to order, hoping that their name actually gave away what they sold, but I couldn't read the menu because the sun washed out the TV. Another bad thing about TVs is they will lose pixels, so you'll have dead pixels, so they'll have a whole line of pixels that go out because they're not designed to be outside. But for $99 on Black Friday, a whole bunch of people buy them, turn them to portrait, and then stick a menu on it. And however they put the menu, whether it's just a loop of a PDF, or if it's a loop of a PowerPoint, or if it's just a straight photograph, and that's the only thing that it does, and they call that, there's my menu. And that's not a menu, that's a picture, and you just put it on a TV. If you're going to spend the money to have something go outside, don't even buy an outdoor TV, because you're going to have the same issues. It's still a home product that you're trying to use commercially. It will not last. So you need to spend the money on and monitor that's designed to be outside, and hopefully the monitor also includes software to allow you to change the menu on the fly if you need to. If you're going to go into business and you want to have that electronic menu board, then spend the money to do it. Otherwise, just do it the old-fashioned way of having a menu that you can change when you want. But again, it's a physical menu, so you're going to have to print it or do whatever you want. Put it on the side of your food truck. Have a QR code that will take them electronically to see the menu online somewhere. And then have that A-frame sign for the people that are at distance from your food truck. Those things help people to place orders rapidly, and it's based on what they like. There are people that want the QR code. Oh, there's a QR code. Let me scan it, see what the menu's all about. And they'll ignore the written menu in front of them. That's okay. That's their preferred method of learning about your business. The A-frame sign, a distance away from your food truck, allows the passersby to make that judgment without having to get too close to somebody and say, hey, can I take your order? Because now they got to be embarrassed once they figure out that, oh, I don't really want to spend $15 on a hamburger, no matter what's on it. For some people, that's just too much because a hamburger is still something they can fix at home. And if you haven't made it really, really different, they're not going to spend $15 on a hamburger that has mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, ketchup, pickle, onion, and mustard because they have all that stuff at home. Now, yours might be awesome, but the value's not going to be there. And they don't want to be embarrassed by coming up to realize that, oh my God, this guy's overpriced. I think I will eat somewhere else. That's why you put the A-frame sign out so you don't have to deal with the people that aren't sure anyway. So those are the things that you can do just to help yourself with a menu and get people to be able to read it in their preferred method. Now, the other thing that you want to do, we have people ask this all the time. How do I adhere the menu to my food truck or food trailer? Well, here's a big don't. Do not include it in your wrap because that forces you either to have white spots for the pricing because the pricing is going to change. Certainly it should change on the venue that you're at, and it should change over time based on how long you're in business. Sadly, prices go up. You don't want to be locked into selling that $7 breakfast sandwich when egg prices are going through the roof. So you'd have to either have the white spots, which makes it ugly. I don't care for that because that means you're going to go out there with some type of lettering system or numbering system to change those prices. I would much rather see you guys have a menu that is adhered to the side of your food truck. Now here becomes the problem. How do you adhere it? Some people use Velcro. They just use the Velcro strips. So they have the Velcro strips that's on their wrap, and then they can Velcro the actual element of the menu, however it is printed, to the side with the Velcro. And I've seen a number of food truck owners be fairly successful with that. The issue becomes when you forget and you're driving down the highway, the wind's going to blow the things off and they're long gone. So you got to remember to pull them off every time you go to move the food truck. That's an easy, cheap way to do it. You can laminate those at home. So you just buy yourself a $40 laminator and then laminating paper. Use a nice color printer and then print them off at home, laminate them, and then put the Velcro on them, and there you go. There's your menu. Stick it right on the side. You can change stuff in and out as you need to. Fairly simple way to do it, and you can do it yourself. And you can actually have multiple pricing as well. So you can just trade things in and out based on where you're going to be. Fairly easy to do. You can do what we do. We bought a snap frame. What that means is all the edges of the frame itself are on hinges. So there is a solid background. Attached to it is the aluminum frame with the hinges and then the frame itself. So you open those up. So you open all 4 sides, and now you can pull off the plexiglass, put your laminated sheets up there, and we do that on our menu. Put the plexiglass back, close the snap frame edges, and there you are. Something you can travel with, something you can change on the fly if you need to. And you can do it in a multitude of different ways. Again, print it on your home printer and laminate it. Takes care of the weather. We've had the same menu up for as long as 5 months, and the weather just doesn't bother it. Now, the sunlight, though, will fade it because the inks that we use, being a home printer, not super high quality, and they do not like UV light. So you may have to change those out occasionally, but it's certainly much cheaper than making it part of your wrap and then going, oh crap, I don't want to sell this product anymore, but there it is on my wrap. You can do magnets, but magnets only work if you have an iron or steel frame underneath the aluminum siding. That aluminum siding is not magnetic, and a lot of people don't know that until they say, yeah, I'll use magnets, and then they figure out that, oh, this isn't steel. So magnets can work for some people, but it may not work for other people. And then, of course, you can just have that poster board behind just a plain old frame, and you can drop those in and out if you need to. You can get the plexiglass, adhere it to the side, and then just drop the poster board inside that plexiglass U-shaped frame. You can do that as well. My preference, again, would be either to do an real outdoor menu, which are many thousands of dollars, but it's what McDonald's uses, what Burger King uses. Those things are designed to be outside, number one, so they can take the weather. They don't get beat up by the sun as badly as a home TV would, and then the other good thing is you can program them and change stuff on the fly. Now, of course, the McDonald's and Burger King, that's all tied to their POS system. So when they program the POS system and raise prices, it automatically does it on their visual displays out in the drive-thru. And if they have an inside electronic menu board, also changes it. Neat thing about them is you can also change based on the time of day. So, McDonald's and Burger King all stopped selling breakfast at either 10:30 or 11. So at 11:01 or 10:31, automatically the thing changes to lunch. Nobody has to physically go out and do anything. Back in the day, they were all on swivels. So on the back side would be breakfast, on the front side would be lunch, and we would just turn them back and forth, which meant an employee had to go out and physically move those things. And when it rained and when it was super cold, nobody wanted to go do it. But it still had to be done. Otherwise, people coming at 11 o'clock are still looking at a breakfast menu going, isn't it lunch yet? So electronic menu boards were a big game changer for fast food industry. So there's just a few quick tips on what you can do with the menu to make your life easier. And again, with the QR code, I mentioned it briefly a couple of different times. The QR code makes a whole lot of sense to be on the side of your food truck and then labeled, see our menu, view our menu. What that does for you, especially as you're moving around inside the city and you're not open for business, people that are parked next to you at the red light can go, oh, I'll snap the menu and see what they're all about. That QR code will take them straight to the menu. So you want to have that available. And I would put it on the back and both sides at least. So that way people have plenty of opportunity to see all about your menu. And remember, I always talk about having a different QR code that takes them to where you want their reviews to go or your reviews to go. That QR code needs to be smaller because you want to refer people to it and then be able to take it really quickly without having to step back and get the whole QR code in frame. The QR code for your menu needs to be a little bit bigger. So hopefully you can do some of those tips and get your menu out to where it makes sense and you don't have to be so frustrated about how should I do this. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding everything we do helpful in your business, please consider subscribing. And if you really love what we do, there's a link in the description. You guys can show some support. Every little bit does help keep us going. Until next time, you guys have a profitable week.